Henry the Sixth, the Part 2, Act 4. Scene 1. Alarum within, ordnance goes off like as it were a fight at sea. Enter Lieutenant, a shipmaster and his mate, Walter Whitmore and others, with them Suffolk, disguised, and other gentlemen prisoners. Lieutenant. The gaudy, blabbing, and remorseful day is crept into the bosom of the sea. And now loud howling wolves arouse the jades that drag the tragic melancholy night, who with their drowsy, slow, and flagging wings cleap dead men's graves, and from their misty jaws breathe foul, contagious darkness in the air. Therefore bring forth the soldiers of our prize, for whilst our pinnace anchors in the downs, here shall they make their ransom on the sand, or with their blood stain this discolored shore. Master, this prisoner freely give I thee, and thou that art his mate make boot of this. The other, Walter Whitmore, is thy share. What is my ransom, master? Let me know. 1,000 crowns, or else lay down your head. And so much shall you give, or off goes yours. What think you much to pay 2,000 crowns, and bear the name and port of gentlemen? Cut both the villains' throats, for die you shall. The lives of those which we have lost in fight be counterpoised with such a petty sum. I'll give it, sir, and therefore spare my life. And so will I, and write home for it straight. I lost mine eye in laying the prize aboard, and therefore to revenge it shall thou die. And so should these, if I might have my will. Be not so rash, take ransom, let him live. Look on, my George, I am a gentleman. Rate me at what thou wilt, thou shalt be paid. And so am I, my name is Walter Whitmore. How now, why start'st thou? What doth death affright? Thy name affrights me, in whose sound is death. A cunning man did calculate my birth, and told me that by water I should die. Yet let not this make thee be bloody minded. Thy name is Gaultier, being rightly sounded. Gaultier or Walter, which it is, I care not. Never yet did base dishonor blur our name, but with our sword we wiped away the blot. Therefore, when merchant-like I sell revenge, broke be my sword, my arms torn and defaced, and I proclaimed a coward through the world. Stay, Whitmore, for thy prisoner is a prince, the Duke of Suffolk, William de la Pole. The Duke of Suffolk muffled up in rags? But these rags are no part of the Duke. Jove sometime went disguised, and why not I? But Jove was never slain, as thou shalt be. Obscure and lousy swain, King Henry's blood, the honorable blood of Lancaster, must not be shed by such a jaded groom. Hast thou not kissed thy hand and held my stirrup, bareheaded, plodded by my footcloth mule, and thought thee happy when I shook my head? How often hast thou waited at my cup, fed from my trencher, kneeled down at the board, when I have feasted with Queen Margaret? Remember it, and let it make thee crestfallen. And allay this thy abortive pride. How in our voiding lobby hast thou stood, and duly waited for my coming forth? This hand of mine hath writ in thy behalf, and therefore it shall charm thy riotous tongue. Speak, captain, shall I stab the forlorn swain? First let my words stab him, as he hath me. Base slave, thy words are blunt, and so art thou. Convey him hence, and on our longboat's side strike off his head. Thou darest not for thy own. Yes, Poole, 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 Sir Poole, Lord, a kennel, puddle, sink, whose filth and dirt troubles the silver spring where England drinks. Now will I dam up this thy yawning mouth for swallowing the treasure of the realm. Thy lips that kissed the queen shall sweep the ground, and thou that smiledest at good Duke Humphrey's death against this senseless winds shall grin in vain, who in contempt shall hiss at thee again. And wedded be thou to the hags of hell, for daring to affy a mighty lord unto the daughter of a worthless king, having neither subject wealth nor diadem. By devilish policy art thou grown great, and like ambitious Scylla overgorged with goblets of thy mother's bleeding heart. By thee Anjou and Maine were sold to France. The false revolting Normans thorough thee disdain to call us lord, and Picardy hath slain their governors, surprised our forts, and sent the ragged soldiers wounded home. The princely Warwick and the Nevilles all, whose dreadful swords were never drawn in vain, as hating thee are rising up in arms, and now the house of York, thrust from the crown by shameful murder of a guiltless king, and a lofty, proud, encroaching tyranny, burns with revenging fire, whose hopeful colors advance our half-faced sun, striving to shine, under the which is writ in Vitus Nubibus. The commons here in Kent are up in arms, and to conclude reproach and beggary is crept into the palace of our king, and all by thee away convey him hence. Oh, that I were a god, to shoot forth thunder upon these paltry, servile, abject drudges. Small things make base men proud. This villain here, being captain of a pinnace, threatens more than Bargulus the strong Illyrian pirate. Drones suck not eagle's blood, but rob beehives. It is impossible that I should die by such a lowly vassal as thyself. Thy words move rage and not remorse in me. But my deeds shall stay thy fury soon. I go of message from the queen to France. I charge thee waft me safely across the channel. Come, Suffolk, I must waft thee to thy death. Pene Gelitus timor occupat artus, it is thee I fear. Thou shalt have cause to fear before I leave thee. What, are ye daunted now? Now will ye stoop? My gracious lord, entreat him, speak him fair. Suffolk's imperial tongue is stern and rough, used to command, untaught to plead for favor. Far be it we should honor such as these with humble suit. No, rather let my head stoop to the block than these knees bow to any save to the God of heaven and to my king. And sooner dance upon a bloody pole than stand uncovered to the vulgar groom. True nobility is exempt from fear. More can I bear than you dare execute. Hale him away, and let him talk no more. Come, soldiers, show what cruelty ye can, that this my death may never be forgot. Great men oft die by vile Bessonians. A Roman sworder and Benedetto's slave murdered sweet Tully. Brutus's bastard hand stabbed Julius Caesar. Savage islanders, Pompey the Great, and Suffolk dies by pirates. And as for these, whose ransom we have set, it is our pleasure one of them depart. Therefore come you with us, and let him go. There let his head and liveless body lie, until the queen his mistress bury it. O barbarous and bloody spectacle! His body will I bear unto the king. If he revenge it not, yet will his friends, so will the queen that living held him dear. Scene 2. Enter George Beavis and John Holland with long staves. Beavis. Come and get thee a sword, though made of a lath. They have been up these 2 days. They have the more need to sleep now then. I tell thee, Jack Cade, the clothier means to dress the Commonwealth, and turn it, and set a new nap upon it. So he had need, for 'tis threadbare. Well, I say, it was never merry world in England since gentlemen came up. Oh, miserable age! Virtue is not regarded in handicraftsmen. The nobility think scorn to go in leather aprons. Nay, more, the king's council are no good workmen. True, and yet it is said, labor in thy vocation, which is as much to say as, let the magistrates be laboring men, and therefore should we be magistrates. Thou hast hit it, for there's no better sign of a brave mind than a hard hand. I see them, I see them. There's Best's son, the tanner of Wingham. He shall have the skins of our enemies to make dogs' leather of. And Dick the butcher, then is sin struck down like an ox, and iniquity's throat cut like a calf. And Smith the weaver, argo, their thread of life is spun. Come, come, let's fall in with them. Drum, enter Cade, Dick the butcher, Smith the weaver, and a Sawyer with infinite numbers with long staves. We, John Cade, so termed of our supposed father, or rather of stealing a cade of herons. For our enemies shall fall before us, inspired with the spirit of putting down kings and princes, command silence. Silence. My father was a Mortimer. He was an honest man and a good bricklayer. My mother a Plantagenet. I knew her well. She was a midwife. My wife descended of the Lacys. She was indeed a peddler's daughter and sold many laces. But now of late, not able to travel with her furred pack, she washes bucks here at home. Therefore am I of an honorable house. Ay, by my faith, the field is honorable, and there was he born, under a hedge, for his father had never a house but the cage. Valiant I am, a must needs, for beggary is valiant. I am able to endure much, no question of that, for I have seen him whipped 3 market days together. I fear neither sword nor fire. He need not fear the sword, for his coat is of proof. But methinks he should stand in fear of fire, being burnt i' the hand for stealing of sheep. Be brave, then, for your captain is brave and vows reformation. There shall be in England 7 halfpenny loaves sold for a penny. The 3-hooped pot shall have 10 hoops, and I will make it a felony to drink small beer. All the realm shall be in common, and in Cheapside shall my palfrey go to grass. And when I am king, as king I will be. God save your majesty. I thank you, good people. There shall be no money. All shall eat and drink on my score, and I will apparel them all in one livery, that they may agree like brothers, and worship me their Lord. The first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers. Nay, that I mean to do. Is not this a lamentable thing, that of the skin of an innocent lamb should be made parchment, that parchment, being scribbled over, should undo a man? Some say the bee stings, but I say 'tis the bee's wax. For I did but seal once to a thing, and I was never mine own man since. How now? Who's there? Enter one with a clerk. Smith. The clerk of Chartham. He can write and read and cast a compt. Oh, monstrous! We took him setting of boys' copies. Here's a villain. He has a book in his pocket with red letters in it. Nay, then he is a conjurer. Nay, he can make obligations and write court hand. I am sorry for it. The man is a proper man, of a mine honor. Unless I find him guilty, he shall not die. Come hither, Sirrah. I must examine thee. What is thy name? Emmanuel. They use it to write on the top of letters. 'Twill go hard with you. Let me alone. Dost thou use to write thy name? Or hast thou a mark to thyself, like an honest, plain-dealing man? Sir, I thank God. I have been so well brought up that I can write my own name. He hath confessed. Away with him. He's a villain and a traitor. Away with him, I say. Hang him with his pen and inkhorn about his neck. Exit one with the clerk. Enter Michael. Where's our general? Here I am, thou particular fellow. Fly, fly, fly. Sir Humphrey Stafford and his brother are hard by, with the king's forces. Stand, villain, stand, or I'll fell thee down. He shall be encountered with a man as good as himself. He is but a knight, is No. To equal him, I will make myself a knight presently. Rise up, Sir John Mortimer, now have at him. Rebellious hinds, the filth and scum of Kent, marked for the gallows, lay your weapons down. Home to your cottages, forsake this groom. The king is merciful if you revolt. But angry, wrathful, and inclined to blood, if you go forward, therefore yield or die. As for these silken-coated slaves, I pass not. It is to you, good people, that I speak, over whom in time to come I hope to reign, for I am rightful heir unto the crown. Villain, thy father was a plasterer, and thou thyself a shearman, art thou not? And Adam was a gardener. And what of that? Marry this Edmund Mortimer, Earl of March, married the Duke of Clarence' daughter, did he not? Sir, by her he had 2 children at one birth. That's false. There's the question, but I say 'tis true. The elder of them being put to nurse was by a beggar woman stolen away, and ignorant of his birth and parentage, become a bricklayer when he came to age. His son am I, deny it if you can. Nay, 'tis too true, therefore he shall be king. Sir, he made a chimney in my father's house, and the bricks are alive at this day to testify it, therefore deny it not. And will you credit this base drudge's words, that speaks he knows not what? Ay, marry will we. Therefore get ye gone. Jack Cade, the Duke of York, hath taught you this. He lies, for I invented I myself. Go to, Sarah, tell the king from me that for his father's sake, Henry the Fifth, in whose time boys went to Spain counter for French crowns, I am content he shall reign, but I'll be protector over him. And furthermore, we'll have the Lord says head for selling the dukedom of Maine. Good reason, for thereby is England mained and feigned to go with a staff, but that my puissance holds it up. Fellow kings, I tell you that that Lord say hath gelded the Commonwealth, and made it a eunuch, and more than that, he can speak French, and therefore he is a traitor. O gross and miserable ignorance! Nay, answer if you can. The Frenchmen are our enemies. Go to, then. I ask but this. Can he that speaks with the tongue of an enemy be a good counselor or no? No, no, and therefore will have his head. Well, seeing gentle words will not prevail, assail them with the army of the king. Herald away and throughout every town, proclaim them traitors that are up with Cade, that those which fly before the battle ends may, even in their wives' and children's sight, be hanged up for example at their doors. And you that be the king's friends, follow me. And you that love the commons, follow me. Now show yourselves, men, 'tis for liberty. We will not leave one lord, one gentleman. Spare none but such as go in clouted shoon. For they are thrifty, honest men, and such as would, but that they dare not take our parts. They are all in order, and march toward us. But then are we in order when we are most out of order. Come, march forward. Scene 3, alarums to the fight wherein both the Staffords are slain. Enter Cade and the rest. Cade. Where's Dick, the butcher of Ashford? Here, sir. They fell before thee like sheep and oxen, and thou behavest thyself as if thou hadst been in thine own slaughterhouse. Therefore thus will I reward thee. The Lent shall be as long again as it is, and thou shalt have a license to kill for 100 lacking one. I desire no more. And to speak the truth, thou deservest no less. This monument of the victory will I bear, putting on Stafford's armor, and the bodies shall be dragged at my horse heels till I do come to London, where we will have the mayor's sword borne before us. If we mean to thrive and to do good, break open the jails and let out the prisoners. Fear not that, I warrant thee. Come, let's march towards London. Scene 4. Enter the king with a supplication, and the queen with Suffolk's head, the Duke of Buckingham, and the Lord say. Queen. Oft have I heard that grief softens the mind, and makes it fearful and degenerate. Think therefore on revenge, and cease to weep. But who can cease to weep and to look on this? Here may his head lie on my throbbing breast. But where's the body that I should embrace? What answer makes your grace to the rebel's supplication? I'll send some holy bishop to entreat, for God forbid so many simple souls should perish by the sword. and I myself, rather than bloody war, shall cut them short with parley and with Jack Cade, their general. But stay, I'll read it over once again. Ah, barbarous villains! Hath this lovely face ruled like a wandering planet over me? And could it not enforce them to relent, that were unworthy to behold the same? Lord, say Jack Cade hath sworn to have thy head. But I hope your highness shall have his. How now, madame, still lamenting and mourning for Suffolk's death? I fear me, love, if that I had been dead, thou wouldst not have mourned so much for me. No, my love, I should not mourn, but die for thee. How now? What news? Why comest thou in such haste? The rebels are in Southwark. Fly, my lord. Jack Cade proclaims himself Lord Mortimer, descended from the Duke of Clarence's house, and calls your grace usurper openly, and vows to crown himself in Westminster. His army is a ragged multitude of hinds and peasants, rude and merciless. Sir Humphrey Stafford and his brother's death hath given them heart and courage to proceed. All scholars, lawyers, courtiers, gentlemen, they call false caterpillars, and intend their death. Oh, graceless men, they know not what they do. My gracious lord, retire to Killingworth, until a power be raised to put them down. Ah, were the Duke of Suffolk now alive, these Kentish rebels would be soon appeased. Lord, say, the traitors hateth thee, therefore away with us to Killingworth. So might your grace's person be in danger. The sight of me is odious in their eyes, and therefore in this city will I stay, and live alone as secret as I may. Jack Cade hath gotten London Bridge. The citizens fly and forsake their houses. The rascal people, thirsting after prey, join with the traitor, and they jointly swear to spoil the city and your royal court. Then linger not, my lord, away, take horse. Come, Margaret, God, our hope, will succour us. My hope is gone, now Suffolk is deceased. Farewell, my lord, trust not the Kentish rebels, trust nobody, for fear you be betrayed. The trust I have is in mine innocence, and therefore am I bold and resolute. Scene 5. Enter Lord Scales upon the tower, walking. Then enters 2 or 3 citizens below Scales. How now, is Jack Cade slain? No, my lord, nor likely to be slain. For they have won the bridge, killing all those that withstand them. The Lord Mayor craves aid of your honor from the tower to defend the city from the rebels. Such aid as I can spare you shall command, but I am troubled here with them myself. The rebels have essayed to win the tower, but get you to Smithfield and Gatherhead, and thither I will send you Matthew Goff. Fight for your king, your country, and your lives, and so farewell, for I must hence again. Scene 6. Enter Jack Cade and the rest, and strikes his staff on London stone. Cade. Now is Mortimer lord of this city, and here, sitting upon London stone, I charge and command that, of the city's cost, the pissing conduit run nothing but claret wine this first year of our reign. And now, henceforward, it shall be treason for any that calls me other than Lord Mortimer. Enter a soldier running. Jack Cade, Jack Cade, knock him down there. They kill him. If this fellow be wise, he'll never call ye Jack Cade more. I think he hath a very fair warning. My lord, there's an army gathered together in Smithfield. Come, then, let's go fight with them. But first go and set London Bridge on fire. And if you can, burn down the tower, too. Come, let's away. Scene 7. Alarums. Matthew Goff is slain and all the rest. Then enter Jack Cade with his company. Cade. So, sirs, now go, some and pull down the Savoy, others to the Inns of Court, down with them all. I have a suit unto your lordship. Be it a lordship, thou shalt have it for that word. Only that the laws of England may come out of your mouth. Mass, 'twill be sore law then, for he was thrust in the mouth with a spear, and 'tis not whole yet. Nay, John, it will be stinking law, for his breath stinks with eating toasted cheese. I have thought upon it, it shall be so. Away, burn all the records of the realm. My mouth shall be the Parliament of England. Then we are like to have biting statutes, unless his teeth be pulled out. And henceforward all things shall be in common. My lord, a prize, a prize! Here's the Lord say, which sold the towns in France. He that made us pay 1 and 20 15s and 1 shilling to the pound, the last subsidy. Enter George Bevis with the Lord say. Cade. Well, he shall be beheaded for it 10 times. Ay, thou say, thou surge, nay, thou buckram lord. Now art thou within point blank of our jurisdiction regal. What canst thou answer to my majesty for giving up of Normandy unto Monsieur Bassamicoux, the Dauphin of France? Be it known unto thee by these presents, even the presence of Lord Mortimer, that I am the besom that must sweep the court clean of such filth as thou art. Thou hast most traitorously corrupted the youth of the realm in erecting a grammar school, and whereas before our forefathers had no other books but the score and the tally, thou hast caused printing to be used, and, contrary to the king, his crown and dignity, thou hast built a paper mill. It will be proved to thy face that thou hast men about thee that usually talk of a noun and a verb, and such abominable words as no Christian ear can endure to hear. Thou hast appointed justices of peace to call poor men before them about matters they were not able to answer. Moreover, thou hast put them in prison, and because they could not read, thou hast hanged them, when, indeed, only for that cause they have been most worthy to live. Thou dost ride in a footcloth, dost thou not? What of that? Marry, thou oughtest not let thy horse wear a cloak, when honester men than thou go in their hose and doublet, and work in their shirt too, as myself, for example, that am a butcher. You men of Kent, what say you of Kent? Nothing but this, 'tis bona terra malegens. Away with him, away with him! He speaks Latin. Hear me but speak, and bear me where you will. Kent, in the commentary Caesar's writ, is termed the civilest place of all this isle. Sweet is the country because full of riches. the people liberal, valiant, active, wealthy, which makes me hope you are not void of pity. I sold not Maine, I lost not Normandy, yet to recover them would lose my life. Justice with favor have I always done, prayers and tears have moved me, gifts could never. When I ought have aught exacted at your hands, but to maintain the king, the realm, and you. Large gifts have I bestowed on learned clerks, because my book preferred me to the king. And seeing ignorance is the curse of God, knowledge the wing wherewith we fly to heaven, unless you be possessed with devilish spirits, you cannot but forbear to murder me. This tongue hath parleyed unto foreign kings for your behoof. Tut! When struckest thou one blow in the field? Great men have reaching hands. Oft have I struck those that I never saw, and struck them dead. O monstrous coward, what to come behind folks? These cheeks are pale for watching for your good. Give him a box over the ear, and that will make him red again. Long sitting to determine poor men's causes hath made me full of sickness and diseases. Ye shall have a hempen caudle then, and the help of a hatchet. Why dost thou quiver, man? The palsy and not fear provokes me. Nay, he nods at us, as who should say, I'll be even with you. I'll see if his head will stand steadier on a pole or no. Take him away and behead him. Tell me, wherein have I offended most? Have I affected wealth or honor? Speak. Are my chests filled up with extorted gold? Is my apparel sumptuous to behold? Whom have I injured that ye seek my death? These hands are free from guiltless blood shedding, this breast from harboring foul deceitful thoughts. Oh, let me live. I feel remorse in myself with his words, but I'll bridle it. He shall die, and it be but for pleading so well for his life. Away with him. He has a familiar under his tongue. He speaks not a God's name. Go, take him away, I say, and strike off his head presently, and then break into his son-in-law's house, Sir James Cromer, and strike off his head, and bring them both upon two poles hither. It shall be done. Ah, countrymen, if when you make your prayers, God should be so obdurate as yourselves, how would it fare with your departed souls? And therefore yet relent and save my life. Away with him, and do as I command ye. The proudest peer in the realm shall not wear a head on his shoulders, unless he pay me tribute. There shall not a maid be married, but she shall pay to me her maiden head ere they have it. Men shall hold of me in Capite, and we charge and command that their wives be as free as heart can wish or tongue can tell. My lord, when shall we go to Cheapside and take up commodities upon our bills? Marry presently. Oh, brave! But is it not this braver? Let them kiss one another, for they loved well when they were alive. Now part them again, lest they consult about the giving up of some more towns in France. Soldiers, defer the spoil of the city until night. For with these borne before us, instead of maces, we will ride through the streets, and at every corner have them kiss away. Scene 8. Alarm and retreat. Enter again Cade and all his rabblement. Cade. Up Fish Street, down St. Magnus Corner, kill and knock down, throw them into the Thames. What noise is this I hear? Dare any be so bold to sound retreat or parley when I command them kill? Here they be that dare and will disturb thee. No, Cade, we come ambassadors from the king unto the commons, whom thou hast misled, and here pronounce free pardon to them all that will forsake thee or go home in peace. What say ye, countrymen? Will ye relent and yield to mercy whilst 'tis offered you? Or let a rebel lead you to your deaths? Who loves the king and will embrace his pardon, fling up his cap and say, God save his majesty? Who hateth him and honors not his father, Henry the Fifth, that made all France to quake? Shake he his weapon at us and pass by. God save the king! God save the king! What, Buckingham and Clifford, are ye so brave? And you, base peasants, do ye believe him? Will you needs be hanged with your pardons about your necks? Hath my sword therefore broke through London gates, that you should leave me at the White Hart in Southwark? I thought ye would never have given out these arms till you had recovered your ancient freedom. But you are all recreants and dastards, and delight to live in slavery to the nobility. Let them break your backs with burthens, take your houses over your heads, ravish your wives and daughters before your faces. For me, I will make shift for one, and so God's curse light upon you all. We'll follow Cade, we'll follow Cade. Is Cade the son of Henry the Fifth, that thus you do exclaim you'll go with him? Will he conduct you through the heart of France, and make the meanest of you earls and dukes? Alas, he hath no home, no place to fly to, nor knows he how to live but by the spoil, unless by robbing of your friends and us. Were it not a shame that, whilst you live at a jar, the fearful French, whom you late vanquished, should make a start overseas and vanquish you? Methinks already in this civil broil I see them lording it in London streets, crying Viliago unto all they meet. Better 10,000 base-born Cades miscarry than you should stoop unto a Frenchman's mercy. To France, and get what you have lost. Spare England, for it is your native coast. Henry hath money, you are strong and manly. God on our side, doubt not of victory. Clifford, will follow the king and Clifford. Was ever feather so lightly blown to and fro as this multitude? The name of Henry the Fifth hails them to 100 mischiefs, and makes them leave me desolate. I see them lay their heads together to surprise me. My sword make way for me, for here is no staying. In despite of the devils in hell, have through the very midst of you, and heavens and honor be witness that no want of resolution in me, but only my followers base and ignominious treasons makes me betake me to my heels. He runs through them with his sword and flies away. Exit. What, is he fled? Go some and follow him, and he that brings his head unto the king shall have 1,000 crowns for his reward. Follow me, soldiers, will devise a mean to reconcile you all unto the king. Scene 9. Sound of trumpets. Enter King, Queen, and Somerset on the terrace. Was ever king that joyed an earthly throne, and could command no more content than I? No sooner was I crept out of my cradle, but I was made a king at 9 months old. Was never subject longed to be a king, as I do long and wish to be a subject. Health and glad tidings to your majesty. Why, Buckingham, is the traitor Cade surprised? Or is he but retired to make him strong? He is fled, my lord, and all his powers do yield, and humbly thus, with halters on their necks, expect your highness's doom of life or death. Then heaven set ope thy everlasting gates to entertain my vows of thanks and praise. Soldiers, this day have you redeemed your lives, and showed how well you love your prince and country. Continue still in this so good in mind, and Henry, though he be unfortunate, assure yourselves will never be unkind. And so with thanks and pardon to you all, I do dismiss you to your several countries. God save the king, God save the king. Please it your grace to be advertised, the Duke of York is newly come from Ireland, and with a puissant and a mighty power of gallow glasses and stout kerns is marching hitherward in proud array, and still proclaimeth as he comes along, his arms are only to remove from thee the Duke of Somerset, whom he terms a traitor. Thus stands my state twixt Cade and York distressed, like to a ship that, having scaped a tempest, is straightway calmed and boarded with a pirate. But now is Cade driven back, his men dispersed, and now is York in arms to second him. I pray thee, Buckingham, go and meet him, and ask him what's the reason of these arms. Tell him I'll send Duke Edmund to the Tower, and Somerset, we will commit thee thither until his army be dismissed from him. My lord, I'll yield myself to prison willingly, or unto death to do my country good. In any case, be not too rough in terms, for he is fierce and cannot brook hard language. I will, my lord, and doubt not so to deal, as all things shall redound unto your good. Come, wife, let's in, and learn to govern better, for yet may England curse my wretched reign. Scene 10. Enter Cade. Fie on ambitions, fie on myself, that have a sword, and yet am ready to famish. These 5 days have I hid me in these woods, and durst not peep out. For all the country is laid for me, but now am I so hungry that, if I might have a lease of my life for 1,000 years, I could stay no longer. Wherefore on a brick wall have I climbed into this garden, to see if I can eat grass or pick a salad another while, which is not amiss to cool a man's stomach this hot weather. And I think this word sallet was born to do me good. For many a time, but for a sallet, my brain pan had been cleft with a brown bill, and many a time, when I have been dry and bravely marching, it hath served me instead of a quart pot to drink in. And now the word sallet must serve me to feed on. Lord, who would live turmoiled in the court, and may enjoy such quiet walks as these? This small inheritance my father left me contenteth me, and worth a monarchy. I seek not to wax great by others, waning, or gather wealth. I care not with what envy. Sufficeth that I have maintains my state, and sends the poor well pleased from my gate. Here's the Lord of the soil come to seize me for a stray, for entering his fee simple without leave. Ha, villain, thou wilt betray me and get 1,000 crowns of the king by carrying my head to him. But I'll make thee eat iron like an ostrich, and swallow my sword like a great pin, ere thou and I part. Why, rude companion, whatsoever thou be, I know thee not. Why then should I betray thee? Is it not enough to break into my garden, and like a thief to come to rob my grounds, climbing my walls in spite of me, the owner? But thou wilt brave me with these saucy terms. Brave thee? Ay, by the best blood that ever was broached, and beard thee too. Look on me well, I have eat no meat these 5 days. Yet come thou and thy 5 men, and if I do not leave you all as dead as a doornail, I pray God I may never eat grass more. Nay, it shall never be said while England stands that Alexander Iden, an esquire of Kent, took odds to combat a poor famished man. Oppose thy steadfast gazing eyes to mine. See if thou canst outface me with thy looks. Set limb to limb, and thou art far the lesser. Thy hand is but a finger to my fist, thy leg a stick compared with this truncheon. My foot shall fight with all the strength thou hast, and if mine arm be heaved in the air, thy grave is digged already in the earth. As for words, whose greatness answers words, let this my sword report what speech forbears. By my valor, the most complete champion that I ever heard. Steel, if thou turn the edge, or cut not out the burly bound clown in chines of beef ere thou sleep in thy sheath. I beseech God on my knees, and thou mayest be turned to hobnails. Here they fight, and Cade falls down. Oh, I am slain. Famine and no other hath slain me. Let 10,000 devils come against me, and give me but the 10 meals I have lost, and I defy them all. Wither garden, and be henceforth a burying place to all that do dwell in this house, because the unconquered soul of Cade is fled. Is it Cade that I have slain, that monstrous traitor? Sword, I will hollow thee for this thy deed, and hang thee over my tomb when I am dead. Never shall this blood be wiped from thy point, but thou shalt wear it as a herald's coat, to emblaze the honor that thy master got. Iden, farewell, and be proud of thy victory. Tell Kent from me she hath lost her best man, and exhort all the world to be cowards. For I, that never feared any, am vanquished by fame, not by valor. Dies. I did. How much thou wrongest me, heaven be my judge. Die, damned wretch, the curse of her that bare thee. And as I thrust thy body in with my sword, so wish I might thrust thy soul into hell. Hence will I drag thee headlong by the heels unto a dunghill which shall be thy grave, and there cut off thy most ungracious head, which I will bear in triumph to the king, leaving thy trunk for crows to feed upon. Exit dragging out the body with his servants. End of Act 4. Amen. Praise be to God. Jesus Christ. Jah Rastafari. Bless William Shakespeare.